guys, welcome back to my channel. We're here today to chat a little bit about Giovanni's Room by James Baldwin. This is the first book that I have finished by a Black author for Black History Month, so I wanted to come in here and do a little bit of a discussion, a little bit of a review. I was making a vlog and some things happened with the vlog. It got got a little overwhelming, and I just didn't have the time or resources to post it. So I promise at the end of this video I'll share some of the scenes from my life that I was going to include in the vlog. But for now we're just going to chat about the book just as I'm done. So I finished the book finally. It took me like 3 days to read a book that I said was going to take one afternoon, because the book is really immersive, but I just don't have the time to immerse in the book, I guess is what happens. This book is exquisitely written. This is the word that I want to use to describe this book. It's exquisitely written. It's written kind of like you would expect a conversation with James Baldwin to take place. I've seen interviews where Baldwin is kind of like lounging in a chair and he's being interviewed, and he's just like, his hand is here and he's just very confident telling you his story, and it's kind of like he doesn't care how you receive the story, but he's gonna tell you because you want to know. And that's how this book reads. I don't know his life. I don't know if there are parallels with this story and his life, but it reads like autofiction. It reads more like a confessional, more like he's sharing a story with you. And it's introspective, and it's whatever the opposite of introspective is. It is about a young man named David. The main character's name is David, but we hear it mentioned, or we see it mentioned maybe 3 times in the book. This young man named David, he's a Black man living in the United States, living in New York, and a little bit about his life growing up and what happens with him, the relationship that he has or doesn't have with his father when his mother passes away. And as he gets older and wants to explore life away from his father, away from the pressure of conforming to his father's ideal, he goes to Paris, and it is about him not quite finding himself, but about searching, that exploration of figuring out who you are when you can be anything or anyone. So it's a little bit of exploring sexuality, a little bit of coming to terms with how your self-examination reflects or weighs on other people. So the relationships that this young man has, how he searches for himself within those parameters, but also how other people are also doing the same thing. So very interesting look at identity and self-examination as it is done with other people. As much as you can explore yourself when other people want things from you. So Giovanni is a young man that he meets in Paris, and Giovanni is Italian and David is American, and so there are 2 foreigners living in Paris. A lot of the characters that we meet in this book are people from elsewhere who have come with their own ideas of what Paris will do and will be for them, but also seeing how people in Paris, the French people, how they view them, how people from other places in the world view them and expect them to be representations or representatives of their country. Not necessarily what America is, but what someone from Italy living in France thinks that America is. So very interesting look at identity, how we see ourselves, how other people view us, and how we mesh the two. What I love about this book is that even though it is written in the past tense, it is also very present. We are keeping up with this character. We're keeping up with this character. We're following him. We're in his head. We're in his room. We're in Giovanni's room. We're seeing them through this main character, David's eyes, in a very present way. Even though a lot of the story is being told it in reported form. So I love it. It's exquisitely written. It's completely immersive. And whether you like this character or not, and I feel like the characters are not very likable, they're written in such a way that you're championing for them because some terrible things happen to them. There are discussions, like I said, of sexuality and what abuse and harassment might look like for different genders and different kinds of relationships. And so it touches on some pretty tender topics and some heavy hitting topics, but it's done in such a way that the reader's emotions are called into question. So I don't want to give the plot away, and I don't think I did. I don't think I gave you much details at all. Aside from David is an American living in Paris, and this is about his exploration of himself, his identity as an American man, and how people from other places who are in Paris, as well as the French people, how they see him, how he sees himself, and how his identity may be changing over the course of the novel. So it's a pretty short book. It is only 169 pages. It's the kind of book that you could read in a day. For me, it took about 4 days, but I'm really happy that I read it. So James Baldwin, Giovanni's Room. One day I'm going to read all the James Baldwin's books, but again, it might not be this year because I have some other authors that I'm trying to work through their publications. But yeah, very happy that I read this first book that I finished by a Black author for Black History Month. So I wanted to come on here and share that with you. So let me know if you've read Giovanni's Room, if you're a fan of James Baldwin's writing. And stay tuned now for scenes from my life that I was going to include in a vlog, but that I wanted to share with you anyway. So thank you so much for watching, and until we come back for another video, happy reading. Bye, but not bye. Stay tuned. Watch the rest of this video. Some of the scenes are pretty cute.
You building something?
Yeah.
What are you building?
A castle.
A castle?
Yes.
Okay. What does it say?
Gallop.
Gallop. Very good. Okay. Maybe the kids realize her princess shouldn't be taller than her friends, should she? She looked at her belly. Maybe what the kids said was true. She could not remember any chubby princesses. She looked at her.
How are you? How are you today?
Heart?
Good.
Thumbs up for the book. Give the book a thumbs up. Can we get the picture? Thumbs up. And I'm finally starting this book. It's about time, right? All right, let's do it. First line. I stand at the window of this great house in the south of France as night falls, the night which is leading me to the most terrible morning of my life. ...